found a homeless guy, and we thought, you know what? This is just what this web show needs. Another homeless guy.
They said crack, so I said
We'll post
yes.
a picture so everybody knows.
Yes. So I'm sure as many of you can guess by reading the title of this one.
We're doing Back to the Future.
No, sorry, we're not doing Back to the Future. That teaser trailer is going to be on hold for a while. We're doing, what's it called?
Back to the
Something in
Future 2.
space with...
They can't hear you scream.
Mexicans. We're doing Mexicans.
No, not illegal alien. Somebody said illegal
French?
alien, and they signed up.
Canadians?
French Canadians?
Well, they are illegal aliens.
So then we're doing Alien, not Aliens.
Yeah, this you'll
Correct.
know the difference because there's only one in this movie. Even though they came to that thing's planet for all intents and purposes.
Dicks.
Now, Steve, this is one of your favorites, right?
This is among my top 5 favorite movies.
All I'm saying is we did Ghostbusters, and I stayed professional.
And that was one of my top 3, and I was not here for that, which I'm very sad.
Well, yeah, because we're starting season 2.
Okay.
For season 2, we felt the gross body weight ratio of this podcast was a little low.
Alright, well, I can add a lot of body weight for this podcast if you know
Once
what
again,
I mean.
we'll post a picture of Steve so you guys can get that joke.
Make sure you have a large screen.
The wide, large screen.
Wide, yeah, either way. You might need a little tall, too.
So, Steve, you are new to the show, so this is typically how we do it. We usually go over minor plot holes, some big plot holes, some tidbits, comments we come across. But what we're looking for, though, is the conclusive movie-killing plot hole. The plot hole that basically it derails the entire movie, and it makes sense within the confines of that universe.
Okay, we define the destruction of a movie to be alters the course of 50% of the movie or more.
Yes.
I could possibly do this.
Yes.
Okay, like once again.
But I have one job.
You do. So I'm going to start it out, and Blake's going to show you. I will give out one of my little plot holes.
Okay.
And then we'll let Blake show you how he usually either responds, agrees, and we start a discussion on that plot hole.
Okay.
And then we'll move on to the next one when we feel like that horse has been beat to death.
Okay.
Okay, so now, you remember the opening of the movie with the birds drinking?
Yeah.
Who started those birds? They've been in cryostasis for at least, we figured out 10 months.
You're talking about those little bobby
Yeah,
birds.
the little
the
drinking
bobby
birds.
bird. Oh, yeah.
They've been in for 10 months. Those things only last about 8 hours.
Now, regardless of this being the future, where those could be better, I don't know why you would improve that technology.
Hey, they're retro.
I will
Wait. They improved physics?
I will say that one thing that Ridley Scott's the director, right?
Yes.
I'm not good at those kind of things.
Correct,
But
yes.
the one thing he does do good in this movie, and does very well, is that atmosphere. And building that sort of tension. That's what he's doing in that shot. But from a movie perspective, the in-universe, I agree completely. Makes no sense.
Makes absolutely
Now, actually,
no sense.
considering that, spoilers, there's an android on board.
He was in the pod next to Ripley.
He could have
Nice
got up
try.
any time and did stuff, but...
I think the captain would have found that on his logs of bullshit he had to look through in the HAL room.
It would have been brought up on the computer. Now, given the fact that later on in the movie they state that, we're only 10 months away, we're halfway home. They've been in stasis for 10 months. So what Tom is saying is correct. That thing dies after 8 hours. So
in the universe, it is a minor.
It drinks all the water, or it spits up all the water. I don't know how they work.
I don't know. I've never had one.
Yeah, we're not nerds.
Yeah, fuck that.
I think Blake has one.
I don't have.
I know a doctor that had one once that blew him up.
Wait, no. We are not talking about Darkman. We are talking about Alien. We'll do Darkman next week.
Okay.
No, we'll do Aliens 2, hopefully.
Well, that wasn't too bad. I got a hold of this now. I think I got a hang of
You
this.
think you get a good grip around
I think
it?
I can do this.
This is not your penis.
That is a minor plot.
I don't. You can't get a grip on that.
It does make sense. It is a minor plot hole. I agree. I'm not gonna argue.
All right. So now, Blake, would you like to go into one of your minor plot holes?
Sure.
We'll go around robin here.
Okay. So the first one that really came up for me was the landing of their shuttle. Now, granted, the effects they did with the models, it looked very smooth, but all of a sudden, from the in-crew perspective, it was like, oh shit, we went off the cliff almost.
Yeah.
How?
But
Where? And they had a breach in the hull too.
The only thing I noticed was they landed on a rock, which made one of the little landing pads go up a little.
But that had pivots and joints to account for that.
So how would that? I mean, did they land on a rock? Did a rock like penetrate its gut? I didn't even notice that.
They did say there was a breach in the hull, which didn't make sense to me. I mean, I know they did it to build suspense. I know from a director perspective why it was done, But in universe, it doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, the Hulk has many breaches. They're called doors, bulkheads.
yeah.
But no, I mean,
But
you're
I
right.
agree.
They even had a little 3D model of the surrounding land around them as they were coming down, so they would have seen a outcropping of rocks underneath them and
Yeah.
probably accordingly changed.
Xeno rocks.
Which actually, prop to the people who were doing the science behind this. That looked like, even though this is like a retro
I
future,
call it the art
it's-
more than the science.
It still looked like this would be legit technology they would have used,
Mhm.
or we might still use some bit of this.
It's possible. It was supposed to look like outdated technology to boot.
Yeah, all of it was.
So it's like, yeah, this is like technology 20 years ago, but it was pictured 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, I agree wholeheartedly that there was no excuse for that ship to be so damn rocky. That landing looked it went from precision landing to let's give it to Michael J. Fox just for a second. Yeah. All right, Steve, you said you have a couple little ones.
I got a little one.
I
Alright,
know.
So this, yeah. So after the chestburster scene, after Kane has been exactly, Sigourney Weaver and, for lack of a better term, the African American guy and the guy who's always right, they go looking for the little guy, right? They bring a net, they get the little shock stick, and they got their little Sensei thing.
Right.
Well, they don't find him. They find the cat. Guy with the cigarette goes after the cat, and he goes to this room. Looks like a storage facility for all the working equipment, and there's water pouring down. Why the fuck is there water pouring down? You'd think that would be a maintenance. They were getting ready to go right back into their cryo tubes after they ate dinner, correct? Wouldn't they want to fix all that water leaking and flooding that room?
That is a good fact. But have you seen the guy? Now, I'm not trying to be racist here, but I mean, the black guy didn't look like he was doing his job all the time.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, his first argument while he's they're asking him to do his job is, well, I'm getting anybody who's share who dies, right? We're splitting that up equally.
That is the character.
He
that gave
didn't
him
die
away.
first. That is the good part of this movie.
The good part about this movie is the fact that there was an alien.
Yeah.
You got to see it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it wasn't like misleading advertisement, you know?
Yeah. Well, actually, to go back to your point, because that's
Yeah.
a minor plot hole I noticed too. Was
I didn't even.
well, I don't know if they're not a minor, because the one that they don't explain about these ships is the technology behind the life support systems. And remember, later on when he's before the right, that
Yeah.
guy, because I don't know the character name.
I can't
I'm
think of it
bad
off
on
the top of
that,
my head.
But he was at one point, he went under the water and like took his hat off to kind of like rinse
Cool
off,
down.
like it's normal.
Yeah.
So otherwise, because that was near an air shaft and a cooling duct, otherwise that's condensation dripping down and there are grates below him, or the artificial life support systems actually creates an artificial atmosphere inside the ship, and that's simply part of the process.
Well, they do use cooling rods and cooling technology to support the life
At least
support.
that's-
Are you trying to argue that their ship is just a giant dehumidifier? And that's what all that water
I
is?
say a dehumidifier, but basically it's recreating its own water cycle atmosphere systems.
Maybe.
I
Or
mean,
maybe they just have some lazy fucking maintenance guy.
I'm just saying that's where if it is that indeed that technology, that wouldn't be a plot hole, because they didn't act like
Okay.
there was anything out of the
But
ordinary.
no, but it is a nice little fact to have.
yeah.
Like, one of my favorite scenes about the chest burster scene, though, is I didn't know this, is when they were first starting it out, they didn't tell any of the other actors what was going to happen.
Oh,
except
so
for
that's
John
all their
Hurt.
actual
Genuine
reaction.
reaction.
That's
so that's
awesome.
genuine reaction of them being like, what
So
the fuck?
the woman that's not Sigourney Weaver, insert name here, when she gets all that blood splatter, she's like, "Go God!" That's actually true.
I
Yeah,
hated her character.
she might not have seen that. No, nobody look. There's a reason they killed off everybody but one person.
Okay.
And
I'm
the
sorry.
cat, I believe.
That character, they find the signal. They find the ship. I don't know, guys. I think we should leave. You just found an alien ship and you want to leave. I understand being creeped out and cautious, but we should leave. But we're following protocol. No, we should leave. What if someone's in there like, hey, help? No, we should leave. And then, oh no, her acting was just so.
Now,
Was she in any other movies? I can't remember her in anything else.
I'm sure
no.
she's been.
I mean, she maybe, but she changed. But I got one that's kind of annoying to me.
Okay.
The captain knew what Bishop was, right?
I'm assuming he would know that he was.
Why the fuck was Bishop in cryosleep?
Well, they didn't want him to. They didn't want.
They didn't want the
crew to
rest
know
of the crew know?
that they used a.
One, there's that. 2 until Prometheus, where they showed that.
But it still seems to be a huge waste of resources.
But they're synthetic droids that do have a lifespan.
Yeah, but the need to sleep. I mean, I understand they have a lifespan, but the need to sleep.
But I'm just saying, it's better to, I guess, not waste the resource. I don't know.
I honestly, I just feel like that was a way to sneak it up on the audience, personally. But in the movie, it's like, wait, you built and attached a pod for your android.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I knew that one was a droid. I never actually figured out who it was. So from that perspective, yeah, it was still a surprise, and that was nice.
Yeah.
Veronica Cartwright is her name.
Who'd she play in the movie? That's all I
Her name was Lambert.
Never heard that
in the movie.
name.
Her name. No, I remember she was like Lambert, and then she would call out the black guy too.
I didn't like her acting was just so.
She was in The Birds, Invasion of the Body
like,
Snatchers, The X-Files. She was in a lot of.
It was almost like lazy. It was just like
No, stop. Yes, the Willy Wonka stopping the kids. No, stop.
Yeah.
No, don't.
I mean, actually, aside from Sigourney Weaver, a lot of the acting was kind of.
Well, I don't know.
I like the captains.
Here's the thing.
Dallas.
Here's the thing.
Dallas was
there
good.
were 4 characters in that movie who are notable actors, and then there are 3 people who only one of them I can actually tell you any work they've done other than that, and that's because he's a very cold movie actor.
Kane, the robot.
No, that's Bishop, right?
No, that's in the second movie.
Oh, yeah.
Bishop.
Well, Kane, no,
not Kane. Ash. Ash is the first.
Ash is the droid.
Yes.
This one. The
Yeah.
science officer.
Yeah, but no, Ash was in a lot of stuff.
Yes.
But I'm talking about John Hurt.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Tom Skerritt.
Okay.
Who's a very minimal. I mean, he does a lot of B movies.
Okay.
There was Sigourney Weaver. There was I said John Hurt.
Yeah, you did say John Hurt.
And the other maintenance guy, the white guy, I forget his name, but he was in a movie called Repo Man.
He was also in Down Periscope, I remember.
I didn't know he was in Repo Man.
No, I don't think so.
That wasn't him?
No.
It looked like him.
No, I think you're thinking of somebody else. But still, he does a lot of different movies. Like, he does a lot of those little bit roles.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
He's good for that. He does his
But, I mean, other than that, I mean, what? Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, John Hurt, and the guy who played the android, Ash. And you may recognize him, you younger folks.
Ian Holm.
From the first Fellowship of the Ring. He played Frodo's father.
Mm-hmm.
Or grandfather.
Uncle.
Yeah, he
Bilbo.
played
Bilbo.
he
Bilbo
played
Baggins.
He played Bilbo. And also he was Jack the Ripper in From Hell. And a bunch of other stuff. Yeah.
Now, I will say
Oh,
though,
awesome.
the design of the ships, the design of
Oh,
that
no, I was
science
saying
industry,
this earlier, too.
future was beautiful to watch.
No, like I even said that to him. I'm like, well, you know what? That might actually go up on the list right under the Serenity.
Yeah.
As ships I would actually take into space.
Yeah, it's nice. It's
Alright.
I mean,
So who's got another small one? Oh, yeah, I just did. Why the fuck was the android in cryo sleep?
Yeah.
Which makes no damn sense. It seems like a waste of resources, really.
It does actually, because you're taking away from the humans that need that resource.
Yeah, which will go on to my big plot killer, so.
yeah. The only other minor plot hole I really got was when they went into the engineer ship and Kane went down. Shouldn't all these suits have some sort of camera system? So they like, what happened? Let's check the suit's data. Now they could have easily argued that when the facehugger went through, it broke the camera as well, but
Correct.
there was no signs of any camera system.
That
on
could
the
be
suits.
argued by them being a very private commercial ship. They don't have the kind of funds to get the high-tech suits that would allow for cameras.
They're just a towing
It seems
company.
to
They're
be-
literally
yeah.
a towing
That's
company.
like saying, well, wouldn't you think that tow truck would have some type of camera to show who they're picking up?
Well, I mean, and I
it's a
get
private
that,
tow truck
but I feel that
doing a commercial job.
as a space-faring tow truck, you'd have certain standards for any type of space vessel, including them.
Well, the thing is, these aren't even like space tow trucks. These are space gas.
Especially if you have protocols like they did, where there's a signal like this, you need to go investigate, even though this is not your job.
All right. Having worked in those kind of jobs, everybody knows that there are rules you have to follow, and there are rules you actually follow.
Wait, hold
Quote
on.
unquote.
Rules? You want to go into the major ones then? Cause
I did want to make sure Steve doesn't have any more minors, because we're going into majors.
Okay, it's not really a minor plot hole. It's not really even a plot hole.
It might
It's
be.
just a little tidbit that I noticed.
What?
Other than the alien on board this spaceship, there's a fucking psychopath.
Yes, I
I've
want to
told
hear
you about
this.
this earlier today before the taping. Now,
Sorry,
Blake,
don't
I think
tell
I have
me.
told you this as well.
yeah.
Now, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking
Bruce
about,
is very excited about that.
I started this conversation earlier after the chest bursting scene with Kane. Ripley, the black guy, and the right guy go looking for this little baby alien. Right. And they have a net, little cattle prod, and that little makeshift fucking motion sensor thing. They go to their storage lockers, and they open one to find a fucking cat. The cat.
The only cat.
Who the fuck puts a cat in a fucking locker?
Second question to follow up on that. Who's been feeding that cat for 10 months?
I think the cat was in cryostasis as well.
The cat.
The locker acts as cryostasis for the cat.
Yeah, right.
There we go.
No, the cat did wake up with Ripley in the beginning. The cat was in Ripley's thing.
I will say, from obviously once again from a directing perspective, a cinematic, the cat was on there for the fake scare.
Yeah, the jump scare.
It's
But
it's
you
the
know
standard.
what?
But
Theory-
from in universe,
My
yes.
theory is Ash.
Put it in there.
Because he
didn't like
has
that
no
fucking
idea
cat.
how to fucking deal with an animal. He's a
That's-
fucking robot.
Actually, it's
So
still
he's
a
like,
fair
how do I
point.
keep this from jumping all over everything?
So you're
Put
right.
it in this metal box.
I was right. A fucking psychopath put him in the goddamn locker.
100% agree that Ash was a psychopath. He was just going through ring withdrawal.
Oh, mother.
We boxes the kitties. Okay, so I'm gonna go into my first big one then.
Alright.
Wait, so not including that Kane had the special?
The special?
Yeah, he had the special for dinner.
No, that was John Hurt.
Check,
That
please.
was not the robot.
Sorry,
No,
when
Kane is not the robot.
When I saw
Ash
it, I'm
is.
like, and then that happened, and I was like, I can only think of Spaceballs now.
Okay. Now this is going along this basic idea, but how many sleeping pods were in that ship? I counted 7. Does everyone agree to 7?
Yeah.
Then why the fuck does your escape pod only got 4 seats?
I actually counted 6.
No,
he said not everybody could escape because there were only
No, in the
4
main
seats
ship.
in the
I didn't
escape
remember
pod.
counting 7. But
Yeah.
But either way, regardless, you are correct.
There are only 4
the
seats
shuttle
in the escape pod.
had less, but then again, the shuttle was not.
The shuttle, in Sigourney Weaver's, Ripley's own words, the shuttle won't support 4 people.
Yep.
Yeah, so 3 seats.
So basically, we have a Titanic situation where the emergency escape vehicle cannot support the entire current crew. Now, granted, they're
No. This is not.
have more
This is
people.
not a Titanic
What-
situation where it's like, oh, we weren't expecting this many survivors. No, this is a spaceship where it's like, okay, the life function going down. We need an escape pod. All right, everybody, draw straws.
Pretty much.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Hey, black guy, you know.
You already know. That's what
I think that the company perspective is that it wasn't meant to be an escape pod, but it could be used as one. But I agree, that's still pretty bad.
No,
Yeah.
they call it a life pod.
Yeah, it's a life pod. It
It's a
is
life
your
vessel.
escape boat.
They call it a life vessel.
Yeah. The problem is, it's not all the life.
Hence
vessel.
why when they built it, it was meant to jettison as fast away from the Nostromo in case of a self-destruct situation.
Yeah. Okay. So it seems to me that only having 3 seats on this item seems to me like Tom Skerritt was sitting there just going, you know what? Fuck them. Me and the 2 bitches.
Maybe.
He's gonna repopulate one way or another.
But I don't think that really kills them.
It does, because if they had had an escape pod that would have supported the crew of the ship, they'd have been out of there before that thing came to.
Well,
Before that thing killed everybody.
Well,
Even when there was only 5 people left, they could have got out of there.
Initially, the facehugger was on, and they didn't know what the heck this was.
Yeah.
What was going on?
No, after the chest burster scene,
and they didn't know it would grow.
and it grows to full size and kills one of them,
Gone.
that's it.
The fuck
Gone.
out.
2 people dead. That leaves you 5,
Even if-
including an android.
I'm sorry. Knowing that there's only 1 or 2 seats on this life vessel, I would have said, "Fuck you guys! Hey, I gotta go get something real quick," and I would have been gone.
No, you know what? I'm not.
Well,
I'm just gonna say it.
You know what would have happened with movie tropes? You'd be the next one dead.
Oh, no. Here's the worst part about it. In the real world, in my real life situation, you know for a fact the 2 guys who have to repair this ship would have grabbed one of those chicks and said, come on, we're gonna go to the thing now.
Oh yeah.
Because they're not gonna sit around and wait.
Yeah.
These are working class guys. The 2 working class guys would have got the fuck out of there.
But because of the typical tropes, if you did try to escape early, you would have been the next target of the alien.
Possible.
Period. Because of movie logic.
No, and then the worst part is, you guys know what the original ending was supposed to be, right? It was supposed to be the alien inside that life vessel mimicking Ripley's voice sending out an SOS.
Oh, really?
It was supposed to be the original ending of that movie.
That's pretty
Did
neat.
not know that.
Yeah.
That's really
I just thought that was, a little piece of information you guys would like to have.
I like it.
That's wonderful shit.
Well, that's an interesting major one. What do you got, Steve?
Yeah, what do you got, Steve?
Okay, I don't know how major this is, but according to you, I have to have 50% change in the movie. This might
At
do
least.
that. At least doubles the factor of it would be called Aliens and not Alien.
Okay.
So, when Kane goes into the egg chamber, now the eggs we've established that if once they come into contact with another being, or if they get moved or jostled, they come out of stasis, they hatch, whatever one gets jostled. When he falls in, because he's checking out that little blue line mist, he kicks one of the eggs.
Yeah, he does.
Which would have opened that egg.
Unless it had already been opened.
No, it was a closed egg.
They all were closed.
I made sure I looked.
Maybe it wasn't fertilized.
They're asexual.
That means you can tell them to go fuck themselves?
Pretty much.
Alright, sweet. No, but I agree wholeheartedly. I'm listening. So he kicks one of the eggs, that egg would have opened and it would have kicked off a second alien?
A second alien, which probably would have, in theory, would have attached itself to him or another person. Hopefully, he would have still gotten that other egg that he actually did touch would open. 2 eggs, 2 opened eggs, 2 face huggers, 2 aliens. One big pile of shit.
Alright. Sounds like I'm going to have to pull out my big one then. Oh, you folded up?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the ending. So, Ridley Scott thought this ending was way too simplistic in the Ocean Studio for an additional $500 million budget and a week of filming to add a 4th act to the movie, showing the aliens stowed away aboard the shuttle and Ripley tried to flush it out. Scott originally wanted a much darker ending where the alien climbs back in the shuttle and Ripley harpoons it, but it makes no difference. The alien runs towards her, slams through her mask, rips her head off, and then would sit in her chair and start mimicking Captain Dallas' voice, saying, "I'm signing off, hopefully the network will pick me up." Apparently 20th Century Fox wasn't too pleased with that and said no. Oh, there was a long and uncomfortable silence. Okay, yeah. They threatened to fire him on the spot, too.
Yeah. Like I told you, there was an alternate ending that I think would have been just as good.
Wow, yeah,
Killing Ripley, gets on the thing.
Mimics Dallas's voice.
Dallas is not Ripley's.
That's definitely a different ending.
And he even agrees that later on that was the better ending, the ending that we all know today.
And then once again, the rest of the cast were not told who that's
Look, you always want to get actors.
Told you, those were real reactions when that chest
And they were
burster
real
popped out.
guts, too.
Yeah,
They were real animal.
Yeah.
Wow. They're not real human guns, mind you.
The chest burster
Holy
sequence,
shit.
by the way.
Because this is 1979 and PETA wasn't a thing.
I think PETA was around then.
Well, they weren't
It wasn't-
affecting
they weren't
movies
as big,
like
they
this.
weren't prevalent.
They weren't affecting Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck you.
The 3 major plot holes I came across kind of tie together.
Alright, let's hear 'em.
Basically, it's that the majority of the crew was not following protocol. Period.
Yeah.
Even today, in our day and age, our NASA, our space programs across the world have something called a quarantine protocol.
Ripley
which
did.
Is, hold on, which is mentioned in the movie, but what happened? She was
gave her shit for
overridden.
it.
By the android that has his orders to that crew is expendable.
Yeah, he let him in, but they still could have override him. Dallas was on board with this. Unfortunately.
Ash can override anybody but the captain on that ship, and he was not present at the time. In fact, I
Yes.
think he was one of the guys yelling, "Let us the fuck in."
Yes.
Well,
Dallas
so
and Kane were not on the ship, which
She
left
had 2
Ripley in
commanding
charge.
officers giving her the information.
I got that.
And this
is what
ain't
I'm
the
saying.
military. This is,
Basically,
I don't pay you that.
They get a broadcast, a signal, right? First protocol should have been to try to communicate back.
Oh,
They
no,
never
they are
showed
way
that.
too far out for that.
They never showed that.
They did. They wasn't responding to him.
I did not
It was
recall them saying that.
unresponsive.
Did they actually say that?
It was in the beginning, yes.
Okay, so scratch that then. But still, the quarantine protocol, even you bring him back on the ship, it's on his face. He
They
should have
did
been
quarantine him.
through a window. That they then left
They did
the
not
door
state
wide
the
open.
quality of that window.
How many? And okay, the doctor's hazmat suits.
Yeah.
Okay, back the alien, the facehugger aside, you have the bacterial aspect. One of the things that when people go into a
My
new, like
favorite
when they
aspect.
explore, when they went to the moon, every time, then when they came back, they were in I think at least a 24-hour period of quarantine, where they had no contact, they were cleaned up, they were made sure no bacteria of any type was on them. In this case, they should have a separate sector of the ship that they could have put them in, including his unconscious body. And like the one guy, I'm sorry to say it too, but the black guy, I don't remember the character's name, he even said, let's put him on ice, let's freeze him. We should probably get his character's name.
I got it right here.
What
Who?
is it?
His name is
I could have told.
Yafet Koto.
Yafet Kota.
The character's name is Parker.
Parker. Okay. So Parker.
Well, if you
he
needed
kept
the names,
saying-
I could have helped you out.
Yeah.
I got it right here.
Oh yeah. So Parker even said, "Let's put them on ice. Let's put them on. We don't have the facilities to handle it," and he was right. That was the other instance.
They didn't have facilities to handle shit.
Yeah, but they still could have put them on ice. They could have quarantined properly. Even Ripley said, "Well, okay, fine, you override me, but all of you now need to be in quarantine." And they did not quarantine him. When he woke up and the facehugger was off him, they let him come to the break room, have food. He could have been. No.
If they would have frozen him right then and there, nothing would have happened.
Chestburster aside, he could have had an infection within that was spreading to the entire crew.
Yep.
And that was not
Well,
followed. And if you had followed that protocol, you would not have had the chestburster. You wouldn't have had it growing big. You wouldn't have had terrorizing, killing the crew. You would have had the entire ship not being blown up and bringing back whatever cargo they were bringing.
Actually, you might.
Possibly.
Because if that thing had burst out of his chest at any given time, because they've
Not if
obviously...
it was frozen.
No,
Right.
it still could have burst out of his chest. That's not there on a more populated planet.
It could have. It could
And
have.
honestly, your quarantine idea, well, understandable, would probably make it worse because they would have been closer to
I'm only
actual
looking at the movie.
civilization.
I'm not looking at Back on Earth. I'm looking at the movie within its confines. And in this movie alone, within its confines, during the time, if Ripley and the other crews had said, "No, we're following protocol. You're overridden.
Ripley tried
We
to.
don't care about Mother. We're following the law."
She
and
tried.
the company's protocol, which should have been a way to override, but of course the hidden protocols, I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if they had somehow found a way to do that, you would not have had the entire rest of the movie.
Yep.
It would have, yes, it would have happened later. It would have gotten out, or you would have just
Uh,
redone the movie to have a different sort of breakdown.
That
which-
sounds more like a plot gripe than a plot
No,
hole.
that's still a plot hole because that would
Oh, well,
change.
no.
As you stated, if it changed
50%
50% or more,
But
this would have changed the entire rest of the movie.
is it? But it's not a huge fuck up to me. It's just something that you disagree with.
It's a complete fuck up in so many ways.
No, I completely
Sorry,
disagree.
A little,
They
little
make-
air mask is not a proper.
Eating popcorn right now.
Yes,
watching
okay.
this.
But you see, here's the thing, Blake, is yes, to you, that little air mask is not protective. To a space trucker, that could be a fucking body condom as far as he's concerned.
Yeah, better than
These guys are like
I get
oil
it.
riggers.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
probably the
They're
best
tow
analogy.
truckers.
They're
They're just tow truckers.
In fact,
Yeah.
outside of Bishop, there's not a single person there with medical background.
And I understand that.
Out there's science, but there's no medical. That's why.
But they're
sorry, Ash.
But they're still trained and taught protocols and law,
Dallas had a little bit.
as they all
As
He
a
was a
captain.
captain. He
As
would have had
captain, he was
basic
a little-
first aid,
yeah.
but not enough to handle.
Hence why he only put that little facial mask on.
Exactly. See, once again, to me, it's in line with the background of the characters. These guys are not scientists. These guys have been in space together for years, so most of them considered a basic friendship where, oh, let him in. Ripley's sitting there going, no,
protocol.
we don't let him in.
law.
We have a protocol.
Yep.
Fuck your protocol, bitch.
And that's what
Let
they
him
did.
in. Yeah.
And that's what led to it. But if they had followed the protocol, you wouldn't have had the movie.
Completely different.
But once again,
And that's the point.
all
It'd be
right,
a
you're a
completely different
cook.
movie.
You've worked in electronic assembly.
Yes.
You guys never broken the rules in protocol even once?
Oh no, I'm not
ESD
saying.
protocol, clean
ESD.
cleanliness protocol.
Not to the point where somebody's gonna have something burst out of their chest.
Yeah, but you
maybe
don't know
their
that.
ass,
I'm
but
sorry.
not their chest.
Spaceballs.
Okay. All right, you want to pull ESD? That's fine. If
Yeah.
I worked in the clean room or the white room, whatever you want to call it, where
Yeah.
the components are vulnerable to ESD, yes, I would have the full body smock. I'd have every cord and cable, and I would not break that protocol. 'Cause
Now,
I'd be breaking.
have you ever
period.
seen somebody break that protocol?
No, not.
You've never seen one person
I
break
have
the
never
ESD
seen
protocol
anyone
in a clean
walk
room.
in that clean room without proper attire.
I guarantee you, if you asked around, somebody'd tell you they have.
Maybe they have.
Because you know what? And I hate to say it, like I said, these guys are not
It
scientists.
doesn't change the fact. Regardless, they were trained. If you're gonna go out here, and
They
do
were not
this-
trained.
Yes, they were.
When did they mention this training?
They all mentioned the protocol.
They
all
mentioned the protocol.
rules.
When did they mention the training to execute this protocol?
No,
I
they
honestly
chose.
believe they were given a pamphlet. Said, "Here's the protocols."
No,
Okay,
they were by the
okay,
company. They were
okay.
taught. They were given certain rules they got to apply. It's like, okay, you want to
This
use.
is where I disagree.
You want to use
know what? We
your
have a
oil.
third party now. We take it too.
You want to use the oil rigger example, right? Everyone on an oil rig crew
Yeah.
is taught certain things and told certain. These are the
Proper
rules.
training techniques.
Yes.
Yeah.
That they have to follow. Now, whether or not someone follows all the rules,
Which is
that
your gripe.
varies. No, my
Let me put
gripe
it this
is
way.
not
as
that.
a cook. I mean, I've been a cook for over 11 years now, so I know what I'm doing in a kitchen. I know all utensils. But when I got my job at the current restaurant I'm at, I still have to go through their basic procedures of how they want specific things done. They want an Alfredo cooked a specific way. I know how to cook an Alfredo 4 different ways, but I have to cook it their specific way because it's their protocol, their procedure. So, and that's with really any job I've ever had.
Even my industry is saying.
Okay. Now, you have had training on these protocols. You are told these are the protocols to follow, period.
Yes.
Are you telling me do that 100% of the time?
When my big boss is there.
All right, you see, yeah, if
But
Mother had been on fucking board,
But it doesn't
if
change.
Yakatoni had been on the goddamn ship,
But it doesn't change the fact that this is the point, though. This is the movie killing plot hole. If the majority of the crew had followed the protocol, even to the point of just
yes,
freezing
if they
King's
had
body,
followed the protocol.
and that's my point. It's not that they didn't follow the protocol. It's the plot hole.
Yeah, that's not a plot hole. The whole movie, yeah, I agree that the movie's based around the fact that they
Broke
deliberately
protocol. Yes.
broke protocol.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make it a plot hole.
It's that this is the movie.
That's just yeah.
I think that makes it a plot.
I don't think that makes it a plot.
I do.
No, like them not explaining how they're all able to smoke on an oxygen-rich environment ship is a plot hole.
Well, no. Where you're assuming.
No, and you're assuming that they've had some intense training.
They
told
actually
we have to follow the
No,
protocol.
a couple of the crewmen quoted the protocol. They stated, yeah, but according to protocol and the law and the rules we're supposed to be following, we have to do this. Why aren't we doing this?
So they do have the protocol.
They stated,
and they chose not to.
Basically, the movie does point out through the characters that yes, they were taught proper protocol and what they're supposed to.
And they were told that they were deliberately violating it.
Yes.
So therefore, it's not a plot hole. They covered it.
No,
We're not following protocol. But if you had followed protocol, but we're not. We know protocol.
This is
Here's the
similar to
protocol.
The Ghostbusters one, where they didn't have to go busting ghosts. They could have
No, they could have sold it.
They could have sold their technology. It's not.
It would have been more profitable.
But that's the point, though, is if they had done that, this would change the whole movie.
Once again, we
it'll
just
break
reached
the
one of
movie.
those situations where you and me are at a disagreement.
No.
I don't see that as a plot hole. I see that is the actual plot.
That was a wonderful discussion. That was wonderful. I liked it.
But
That's what the whole
You
point
guys
is to
are the
get those
fucking
discussions
odd couple.
out.
You guys are the odd couple, and I love it.
But that's what these are.
Yep. And you're
find
our
that-
big fat couch buddy.
You find
No,
that
yeah.
one plot hole, that one
Stop it.
element that if you change it, it destroys the whole movie. That's what these are.
Hurt me.
And that's what that is.
I'm not disagreeing with you of what we're looking for, or that you believe
Now,
that
granted,
that is
yes,
the plot hole.
I agree.
I just disagree.
The script, that's how they made the script, the whole movie occur. Enough people broke the protocol. You have the chest burster get into the ship. You have it evolving up, getting out. Because laughable when it was off his face, they just opened the door looking for it and leaving the door open that way. That was another one that leads into this. It's like, shut the door. It's in here. Shut the door. And they didn't shut the door until, oh, wait. I'm like,
Ash went over and shuts it.
oh my god. Yeah.
Well, you know, either way though, I mean, to me, one of the big problems with that whole movie, right there, is the fact that they really should have just taken care of the Ash within the first time they got the clue. It's like, hey, wait, something ain't right here. Before he had the chance to attack them.
They really didn't know. They had no idea until he went haywire and started leaking milk from his forehead.
Well, at that point, he knew the jig was up because they do know synthetics, and once they realized he was synthetic, they're like, oh, no, there's no dealing with this. If he decides what he's doing, we can't physically stop him without equipment.
Yeah.
And
I have one major problem with Ash's attack strategy. He uses a magazine to gag somebody.
he used the nearest tool to.
Could have just used his hand. He's a synthetic.
Yeah, it would have been a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Yep. And that would have gotten the nose, not just the fucking mouth.
Yeah, just
maybe
cone his hand.
Maybe it was trying to show he was trying to fight his program because he was kind of shaking the whole time.
He was not trying to fight that program.
I wasn't sure. I mean,
This
granted,
isn't one of
I'm
those
kind
Winona
of-
Ryder synthetics.
I'm not
This
gonna
is one of the
lie.
originals.
I'm kind of Alien Isolation's leaking into me a little bit on this because that droid did try to break his protocol and he showed it resisting
Well,
it.
here's the thing: is they've shown
that is
two
game.
good
He was the
droids.
hybridized system 128-2.
Ah, you see, that's the thing is he's not one of the Winona Ryder ones. You know, he's one of the ones that enjoyed following its bad protocol. Even in the second one, I mean, that wasn't good. That was my favorite synthetic. Bishop, yeah. Bishop was the best. Because you know what? At no time did that actor not pull off how I'd expect a synthetic like that to act. It's like, I've been cut in half. Are you done? Now I'm lighter, faster.
Not bad for a human. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that movie. It's such a good movie. That is my favorite movie of all time, by the way. Is the second one.
The second one.
The second one is my favorite movie of all time. So when we do that, when you guys do that, I would love to be a part of this show.
Well, I thought you were a permanent staple, but okay, you can leave
this
anytime you
is a
fucking like.
permanent stasis. I love it. All right.
But you're still not living here. I'm sorry.
No, you're not living in our
Fuck.
house. You can
No,
sleep
please.
under the table if you need.
Please, the wife would love to kick me out for a night or two.
Well, we gotta pull out couch or fan.
I don't pull out.
Well, then we have an inflatable mattress. She'd be more used to that.
Yeah, totally.
All right. Well, Steve, do you have any?
Anything else you'd like to mention?
I went through my 3 that I found. I really don't have any more. Like I said, I'm new to this. Gotta give some time.
I mean, if there's
Okay.
anything you can think of now that you think could kill this entire movie.
Well, you know what? At this point, this is when Tom likes to rack his mind and try to pull something out of his ass.
I'll do that right now, actually. They can control the air duct little circle things, right?
Guns, yeah.
Why didn't they just try to close one on the alien while it was in transit?
I think we all know what would have happened there, though.
Oh, they realized it had acid for blood, so yeah, that's a good idea. You're right.
I mean, they show that in Alien 3, though, I believe, that it realizes that it has acid for blood and will
Use
it to bust out of things.
It's the
Resurrection used
fourth
it.
one.
Yeah,
Fourth one. it is.
Resurrection did that.
No, and the third one too.
The third one did it too.
Yes.
Anyway, you were talking about something?
Steve was going about his points, and I think you're gonna pull some of yours now.
Oh, I need to pull something out of my ass?
Ass pulling.
Here we go. Why, at any point, did they not at one point try putting on the spacesuits and decompressing the ship?
Maybe it would have affected the mineral ore.
I think at the point where 3 people are dead, I stopped giving a fuck about your mineral ore.
I think the main ship was too big for them to be able to pinpoint and do it.
That would have taken a long time.
To open up all the bulkheads and just get one window
Well,
open.
the creature was also utilizing the ducts, and therefore was in nooks and crannies that wouldn't have been affected.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. An air duct is going to get affected if there's a decompression situation in
but
space.
not all the air ducts are.
That thing's getting sucked out. I would have gone, honestly, I would have put on the spacesuit, I would have got on the thing whole way. But yeah, my whole concern with that is the fact that they could have decompressed that ship.
They could have. I still think the ship might have been too big for that plan to work.
I don't think the ship was too bad, because you remember, part of that ship was just carrying things. And if I could get the alien to move to the thing that's carrying, trust me, I would have left some ore in some space.
They have a bunch of mining equipment.
Right?
Like, why the fuck did they
Flamethrowers.
They just a flamethrower and a fucking cattle prod. I mean, why don't you go get a rail gun that drives nails and shit into the ground that you probably
You gotta think they'd have something for blasting at the very least.
I understand why you might not want a blasting equipment in your ship when you're in space, but
Oh no, they've been trained in protocols.
Yes, but to be fair, these are traders, tow truckers, maybe oil rig workers. To what extent? They're mainly just transporting.
Yeah.
They're not soldiers. No character was shown any survivalist background. Now, granted, yes, Ripley did survive. That's good. That's a great character.
Yeah.
But they're not Isaac Clarke from Dead Space.
In the first movie, she really
Granted,
wasn't that great a character.
I am no soldier. I have no survival training whatsoever other than to stuff my fat
He knows how
ass.
to cook.
I know how to cook, but I also know to grab the nearest fucking thing that I can use as a weapon if something's coming to kill me.
I do
And
agree.
realizing that if it has the strength to burst through a fucking chest,
I do agree.
you're not grabbing the
They
kettle.
should have picked a location. They should have alerted to them, and they should have taken it out. I agree completely, and they should have. Like when they're packing up to leave and they're making all that noise, I'm like, what are you doing? Clang, clang, clang,
Yeah.
clang, clang, clang. It's like he's gonna cut. Clang, clang, clang. Are you surprised? And then she's sitting there like fearing. That's why I really hated her. He's like, move so I can shoot it, and she's just.
Oh, at that point, fuck you, bitch.
I mean, I understand being frozen
Done.
in fear. I get that. Terror is a terrible thing, obviously.
Yes.
But it's just a standard trope of this is creating suspense, and it's part of the creating the movement.
Way more
but
fun with the second one of these.
in the
than this
universe,
first
it's
one.
just like, come on, guys, come on.
I agree.
Okay.
Also, did you notice how the alien was only actually seen like 6 times?
Something like that. It was like Godzilla in the new Godzilla movie.
Yeah, not a bad thing because I understand the whole point
Well,
was suspense.
that was it was the whole Jaws idea.
Yeah.
Let's not show everything. Let's just build suspense.
So when it shows up, it shows up.
I agree. Now, it probably would have been a lot better if you showed it more.
Yes, no, I don't think so. I think because remember, the effects at this time were good, But even in the scenes where I saw the alien, I could tell it was a rubber suit.
Oh yeah.
So if you had that more exposed,
Okay, this was 1979.
yeah,
Awesome looking fucking design suit though.
completely.
The
But
fact that it has no eyes, I think, says so much to the fucking the artists that created the fucking thing.
H.R. Geiger?
well, no, technically it does have eyes. It's just behind the faceplate.
Actually, no. The xenomorphs have been proven to not actually have eyes.
They have eye sockets then, probably from the human.
Well,
DNA.
that just in that movie.
Yeah.
They put the xenomorphs. I actually have read up on this because I used to get bored at work and I pull up Wikipedias and stuff like that on the
Oh, yeah,
xenomorphs.
expanded universe
This is the
always.
only movie where it had like the skeleton look under the carapace.
Yeah.
In the other movies, you will not find those. They don't have eyes.
It's just like if you remember Predator 2,
Yeah.
when you look at the trophy roll, you can see a xenomorph skull.
It's still
It
flat and
doesn't
smooth,
have
you're
it's
right.
flat and smooth. It does not have a
It's
human
smooth
face.
as Ken.
It was probably a concept they decided to drop, and that's why.
No, he thought the skull look was scary in the first one, but in the second one, he's like, no. Now we're going for the fact that you're fighting something that's unfucking beatable. They took it from Alien to Predator. Yeah. In the second one, that's where it's like, you know what? 8 space marines, all kinds of weaponry, 2 automated Gatling guns.
Yeah.
But we'll save that because that's the next movie, and that's probably what we're going to be doing for the next episode.
Should we comment on the egg morphing scene? The deleted scene?
The deleted egg morphing scene?
Yeah, where she finds Dallas being turned into basically an egg sac and all that, and that was implied how they would reproduce.
I'm glad they didn't put that in the original movie.
I even own that version of it, but I have.
That's what I watched last night. It actually happened.
Yeah, they find it and he's being turned into one of the
He
egg
basically
sacs.
looks there and says, "Kill me," as his body is basically being turned into an egg sac. It was
Yeah, I
basically to show
think they had the same
that-
scene in like the second or the third movie, where it's just, or maybe might have been the fourth, where the guy's just like, oh yeah, the doctor goes, give me, yeah, they pretty much just stole it from that, or vice versa.
Because the idea was that because how would a drone reproduce?
Yeah.
The idea was that it could use some of the bodies to sort of use the biomass to create a new egg that could then infect it.
Honestly, I thought it was more like one of those, saliva spit and left. I mean, anything with a carapace like that, it's gonna molt. Especially something that grows at that speed. I'm surprised in none of the Alien movies they never found like a shell of a fucking from when it grows. Look at the size. Look at the growth ratio there.
I mean, all you saw was the one skin of when it was a chest burster size, and then all of a sudden it's humanoid.
Full size. Not a single shedding to be found.
In the third one, you see one actually going from little to big.
How quick?
Oh yeah.
Fast. It eats
wasn't that
something
the dog
like
one?
Yep, it was the dog one.
Or the cow one. Yeah.
Dog.
So the dog version had its accelerated growth.
No, they all do. They all have
yeah.
accelerated growth, but the third movie actually shows.
The dog one probably had a much more accelerated growth because dogs grow faster than humans.
Shorter
and
lifespan.
lifespan is shorter. But xenomorphs don't have a lifespan. They live forever because if what I remember, they were
the lobsters
bioengineered.
of space.
Yeah. Well, essentially, as I remember it, these were genetically enhanced to be the ultimate killing machine. It's how they one species would take over a planet, and that's why they made the queen, because the queen controls all of the
hive mind.
Yeah, they're like ants,
Yeah.
only large.
And also their hive mind goes across the galaxy.
Yes.
Really scary.
And the worst part, in real time. There's none of that light year
There's no
space
delay,
bullshit.
nothing.
It
It's just-
happens.
The queen knows. Aw, dicks.
I love some of the expanded stuff about this.
Oh, the books are amazing.
The books, the comic books are great.
And Dark Horse did a really good job in that.
I remember reading some of those. I remember when the Xenomorphs versus Superman.
Yeah.
I've never read
Well,
that.
you gotta remember that Superman is in space, right? When
Yeah.
this happens, so he has no
He has
access to
it.
yellow sun. I have it. You can borrow it.
I would love to,
But
actually.
yellow is so at some point, right into him.
Start losing power.
Because he starts draining
vulnerable.
power, and it wasn't until he got some spun. Like, I'll let you read it though.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna
All
go over
right.
anybody.
Well, before we cut off, then, is the movie kill? Do I? Because
Look, I understand what you're saying. I just don't see it as a, and I'll try to explain this as eloquently as possible. I don't see it as a plot hole, as in it kills the movie, because it's explained that they understand it's happening.
They
B,
were
are
trained in
choosing to go
and they choose
around
to go
that.
around it.
They're not saying that, no, we were never trained on this when they should have been trained on that.
Yeah.
They're not saying, no, we don't know how to when they say they know how to. They specifically state, I've been traveling with that guy in space for 2 years. I've developed emotional feelings about him. Fuck the rules. We're gonna help the dude. And the synthetic is down to help.
Well, yeah, because of this.
He's egging it on. So if anything, it goes with the plot that, you know,
You don't have to be politically correct here, Tom. He's a fucking android, and we know
the
it.
synthetic.
I prefer synthetic.
Yeah,
myself.
but all right, Ash is clearly trying to make this happen anyway.
Yeah.
So he's kind of edging it along.
Well, I
there.
mean, with Ash,
That's why I
with the mother
disagree.
in a protocol, I know that this plot would have played out no matter what.
See, now if you had told me that's like, oh, she got on the comm and said to fucking what's his name, Tom Skerritt, that hey, there are protocols in place, and he had gone, what fucking protocols? You'd have yourself a plot hole there, because he would be the first person who'd have to know those regulations.
My point was with that they knew it and they chose to break it.
Yeah, that
they
just
had it broken.
described. Yeah,
Yeah.
if they had it. You see, that's where you lose me. If they hadn't broke it, well, I mean, then that's not a plot hole. That's fan fiction. See, to me, a plot hole would be, well, there's protocols in place. No, there aren't. He should really know those. That's something he should know. But following protocol, that's the choice of the individual. That's just my argument. I've heard yours. You've heard mine.
Steve,
At
you're
that
the third
point,
party.
Steve, you are going to be able to make your decision now. Do you think this movie's killed?
What was your other major plot hole in this movie?
Oh, the fact that there should have been way more seats on that life pod for the amount of crew they had. They built an entire room with 7 sleeping pods. They didn't think to upgrade the life pod?
Actually, I counted 5 in the sleep room. Yeah, sure.
I had 7. 1, 2. In fact, I could pull it up.
I
If you
saw
really want to play
it,
this.
it showed it had the image
Well,
up.
I will pull this bad boy up if you want.
Like, I think
Oh,
the
there's your
first-
isolation. by
It's
the
going to
way.
be in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like a.
Oh, I know. I'm just pulling it up. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6, 7.
Actually, you know what? I'll turn the volume off, so that way we don't bother our customers. And we will kick this bad boy on.
I bet you know while you do your magic behind the scenes editing techniques, you probably put a little picture of that
Oh, yeah, I can-
right there
I
so
can-
people can also count along with us.
Okay, here we go. We're good. It's gonna pop up in a second here.
When I was younger, when I was about 3 years old watching that scared me because I thought those were teeth on the helmet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I've been watching this movie since I was 3 years old. I've loved this fucking movie.
All right, now, be honest. Everybody has paused the Sigourney Weaver scene, right? It's not just
Oh,
me.
100%. No, she
Okay.
was the first woman in the
Alright.
80s to have no bush. It was awesome.
But you know what? I do like the authenticity, and I said this before. I love the authenticity that none of the women in space wear bras because there's no gravity. I like that. The whitey tighties, I could live without.
You mean the Mormon underwear they have in this?
Just John Hurt.
It was right before the thong
This is
came
a
out.
close-up
They
that
had the
didn't
little
need-
line on the side.
Whoa,
for
but I don't. There's a
sexiness.
close-up that I didn't need,
Oh.
and it's coming up.
Oh, yeah.
It's like if you ever wondered what John Hurt's ball
No, you're
sack
right.
looked like, you get a good.
There is
close-up.
seven
When it was a
there.
frozen
Three,
image, it looked like
3,
5.
and
Seven.
boom.
Yeah.
But you see, yeah, and then this one's Bishop, or the Ash. Sorry.
That's okay.
No, that's John. I'm thinking
No,
something else.
this right here. That is the android Ash. This is the black guy.
Parker.
No,
Your guy's name.
No.
No, see, look, Kane, Parker,
Yeah.
Sigourney is on the far end.
Yeah. So there. You see, you got a good view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ash is over
There's
there.
the.
It's stasis for no real reason except to blend.
That's
Is she
Lambert.
just wearing a piece of tape?
However, there is a subtle clue.
What?
Look the way Ash is sleeping. His
Yeah.
hands are like locked.
Yep.
Yeah. He's all robotic, but look.
Everybody
see,
else
I
is
didn't
all
need this
chill.
scene right.
Actually,
She's only wearing a
his
piece of
stomach
tape
was
over her nipple.
barely moving too.
I just want that pointed out that she is so anti-bra. She just wore a piece of tape. We should do more movie killers where we just and who doesn't wake up that way though, honestly.
Holy Grease.
Oh, another day. Yeah,
And
right,
you're
yeah.
thinking, oh wow, here's like the lead role of the movie,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden,
And you know what? I will tell Blake that we started this at about 4 minutes 25 seconds. It's now 6 minutes and 30 seconds. If he wants to add this video to the show so people know what the fuck we're talking about.
I'll probably put in this clip.
Well, that's why I gave you the time frame of the movie.
God, he looks scrawny.
All right. So anyway,
They
I
all do
believe
the chip version.
I believe that the movie is killed in multiple ways.
Okay, it's a quick summary in which ways?
That life ship, if they put this entire room in, that entire white room with the 7 pods, they should have realized they're gonna need a lot more escape pods.
Or
At least put
a
another
bigger
one. Or one that could sustain at least, I would say, minimum 6 people. Or
Yeah.
maximum 6. That way, yeah,
could've
alright,
left the fucking
somebody
droid,
died.
though.
Yeah,
They could've
fuck
left
that
the
droid.
droid. Fuck the droid.
Fuck that droid.
Droids don't have rights.
Well,
Fuck
honestly,
them.
I mean, aside from the fact they're trying to hide that he was a droid, later on they stopped doing that, in which case, like in Prometheus, David's just walking around while they're all sleeping. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need this. I'm good.
You
And
know-
again, he may have made a better designed version and didn't need to basically
That
recharge.
could have came down a little more. But yeah, no. You know what? Like, I understand your plot hole. I am saying it's not a plot hole, but then again, that's my opinion.
I am
we
going
will-
to side with Blake on that one.
That's fine.
After thinking about it long and hard.
Oh, by the way, if you agree with me or if you agree with them, shoot us a message on Facebook.
Or
Movie
comments
Killers.
on the video, Movie Killers.
YouTube, yeah.
The YouTube I'm uploading on.
I don't think Spotify has that idea.
Yeah, I mean, if
Or
you,
whatever
if
we
you
are.
come across the podcast on Archive or anywhere else, we have a Facebook page for you. More than welcome to send a message over there.
Yeah, and
Movie
let us
Killers.
know how wrong these two are. All right, so this is Blake.
Yeah, this is Blake. Hi.
Oh, sorry, I'm Tom.
Sorry, we're doing the names. So I didn't know we were doing this
I
first.
guess that would make me Steven.
Oh, we just call him Steve. He
Wait.
doesn't deserve any even.
You're Steven.
I'm not
I
very.
thought you were Steve this whole time.
We
I
call
am
him. We
Steve.
like to call him Steve.
I'm Steve. I have a level 5 wizard that I play in my mother's basement. But anyway, thank you guys for listening to us.
All right, and make sure to check us out on Facebook again. Bye.